Hello, this is Naoto, and this is a second tutorial on web and Hydra. I forgot the title, but this is a tutorial. The second tutorial, it's been a while, but last time I covered how to use JavaScript to make sliders, like change the parameter of a Hydra sketch, and we're going to make something similar again, or this looks way simpler than last time, but we'll do something more than this. And the idea this time is to look into front-end framework to make it more modular and easy to maintain, which I'll explain now shortly. And this is kind of the complete example I made quickly, but I'll put this aside for now and start from almost blank sketch. Let's see. So no cheating. Well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, but let's start with something very basic. We have HTML, and again, I'm gonna use glitch.com for editing, so that I can skip web hosting and stuff. So if I say hello, it's gonna appear here. Hello, and well, I mean this is a little bit too much, so I will just add a very basic one. Well, probably don't even need font family, but always you want to get rid of margin and padding on the browser, and then probably overflow hidden just for now. I mean, it doesn't really change right now. I mean, actually it's not really loaded on HTML, so I'm gonna just copy it here. So now you know that you see that the margin is cut and the style is now applied. Of course, if you're skeptical, just add something very obvious. Now you can see that it's applied. And of course you want to add the script. I'm gonna paste this again, something like this, and I would add defer. So I don't know if I explained last time, but usually you want to load the script after everything is loaded, and it's problematic sometimes if you use this in the header. I think some tutorials use it at the bottom of the body. Either way, like if you put it in the header or head tag, you put defer. It doesn't matter if you put it at the bottom of the body, but basically I have to do this, and then just make sure console log hi, and then if I open the console with, I think I explained this again in the last tutorial, but Control Shift I, Command Shift I, if you enable the developer tools on your browser, you can see this, and you see that the script is loaded. Great. And last time I started adding things here, basically input, type range, so on, which is good, but the problem is, you might have noticed that you have to go back and forth between the HTML and this JavaScript file where you load the slider, and then you also have the style sheet where you format the slider and other components. And this is okay for a small project like last time. Like today I'm not gonna make a big project, but when it comes to like a bigger project, you have like 100 components. Like maybe not, you don't make something like Facebook, but if you have 100 components, or like even like 10 components, and they're like connected together, you have Hydra sketch, P5JS sketch, and everything on one page, then it gets a little bit messy to organize by going through these three files. And the idea of the framework is, well, not necessarily with a style sheet, but to have a little bit more of an organization between HTML and JavaScript. And I looked into different frameworks recently, And if you're curious, you can go to this webpage. I'm gonna add the link to the description. But I looked into various frameworks. Like for example, there's Vue, React, these famous ones probably you have heard of. You don't have to know what it is, but you probably have heard of Vue, or like Alpine, which is probably most of you don't know because it's relatively small, more like quick prototyping tool, which I was looking for because I don't want to make a big page. Like React is made for making like Facebook, basically. I mean, Facebook made React for their web page or website, but we don't need something like that. You don't want to set up complicated tool chain to compile everything. You just want to pop in the script file in the header and then ready to go. For example, Svelte is another competitor. This is like really clean. You can separate the script and well, you can have separate segments in the same file, so that kind of overcomes the problem I just said, like going back and forth between HTML and JavaScript and CSS. But the problem with Svelte is that you have to set up a tool chain with npm, and like once it's set up it's easy, but I wouldn't really recommend for quick project. Another one, Mithril. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to explain everything, but Mithril is another tool that is a very different approach. It's really quick. You can just pop in the script header and you can write something like this, but I feel it's a little bit obscure how it's written, how the syntax is. And then I found this tool called Torus, which is not very famous. Like you can see they have, oops, I'm in the way, but you can see that they have 209 stars, which is not a big project on GitHub, but it has some good design philosophy, I would say. If you look at this example, there's init, so this app is like containing the component app, so probably it sits, we'll look into it. And there's init, there's styles, where you have styles. It's just a CSS that you would write in the style.css. And this compose returns JDOM, which is something. And inside the JDOM string literal, we have this HTML tags. So it's nothing complicated, but still you can add variables in it, which is really nice. On click functions inside the JavaScript, which is very different from working separately with HTML and CSS and JavaScript files, but still you don't have to set up crazy toolchain to use it. So let's look into it. So as the author says, drop the script tag in your HTML, and I just noticed that I should make this a little bit bigger. I hope this is big enough. Maybe this. And okay, so I need script here, which is the Torus JavaScript file library, let's say, and then all you need is I wouldn't even copy this, but I think I needed something. Okay, I will just try the hard way. So in order to use Torus, you always need a div, or you can start with the body, but I would use div, that's this class, equals app. This is where it's going to be loaded, and I think, well, you can just load it on the body, but somehow I keep this convention. And here I will start with class. Okay, now I have to look at the cheat sheet. Well, not necessarily like looking at it all the time, but just to make sure that I don't make so many typos. So let's start with app, but you know, you can just change it to awesome project, whatever, awesome app, and always extend Torus dot styled component, and that's a trick to use the full feature of Torus. And again, like last time, I will add global comment Torus, and I'll just add this already because we'll need it later. So now we don't see error on this, which is just a little thing, but it kind of bothers me, so it's yeah, but not necessary. And just like a constructor, the app starts with init function, and here, I don't know, just say console log I'm awesome, and styles, I don't know why this is plural, but styles, which returns a CSS object. What is this? This is just a string, actually. I mean, this is a function that takes a string literal and converts into another, like a special object that Torus understands as a CSS, but we don't have to know it right now. Maybe I just change the background to something else to distinguish from the rest, just for fun. And then, the page reloaded, but it's still not changed. That's okay. Compose, this is the meat where you return JDOM, which is just like CSS, but it's something that contains a tag. So I don't know, maybe just div awesome. Right, and nothing has hasn't happened yet. So the reason why nothing has happened is you have to make a app const awesome app is, so you have to instantiate. I'm lazy, so sometimes I skip the parentheses, but I think it's better to do it. Then document query selector. So you remember that here I added div class, which is app, and then append child. I hope it works like this. And this doesn't work for some reason. Well, for the reasons I know. Wait. Yeah. Now what I have to do is to add here, because this is not a DOM. It's, let's say it's a virtual DOM, or like DOM, well, the object contains a DOM, so you have to say node to access this part. Maybe crimson is a little bit too much, so salmon. So now you see that this, well, you can kind of say that this is converted to HTML and appears here. And still, this HTML file, we only have the app class, well, div with the class app, and nothing else. It's just loading Torus and script file, and again, the style CSS is just this. So it's great that everything is here. So whatever you want to do with JavaScript, you can write in init or compose within this awesome app, and then you can add styles, font size 2em to make it bigger. It's awesome. And if you want to say you don't want to cover everything, the width inline, then it will stop here, I guess. Yes. And so on. So you don't have to go to style to edit it. So now I can just close this pane and have a bit more space. Alright, so what are we doing now? I want to add Hydra because this tutorial is not about just about front-end framework, but is about Hydra tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I just copy this whole app, just duplicate it, change it to, let's say, Hydra app, and maybe clean up a little bit. Maybe keep this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, okay, I close this, but I go back to the HTML because the last thing I have to do is to load Hydra, which is I'm gonna cheat this part. So I loaded Torus, now I load Hydra. Oops. Shift tab, yes, and I load the script file as well. And in the past tutorials, probably like I just said, okay, Hydra is new Hydra in the this global scope. So the problem is that it's exposed everywhere, and after writing a lot of code, you don't know which part is for the Torus, which part is for Hydra, which part is for Code Mirror and other tools. Like everything is in the global scope, so it gets very messy. And that's the reason why I want to keep Hydra inside Hydra app. So let's say this Hydra is new Hydra. Oops. And I don't remember this by heart, so I'm gonna just take a look at the cheat sheet, and again, just a little thing, just a little thing for glitch editor. If you're using VS Code, probably you have a different way to disable or suppress the error. Now, before initializing Hydra, you want to have the canvas element, which, I mean, actually, you don't actually need it if you just want to have Hydra. Perhaps it will anyways, the Hydra will anyways create the Hydra instance somewhere, or maybe not. Okay, never mind. But anyways, we need to initialize the canvas, just like how you do with vanilla JavaScript. Create element canvas. Now you want to change width, I don't know, something big. I mean, technically you should take a look at the window inner height, but then it's it won't, you have to make it reactive to the window size and so on. So let's just keep it simple like this for now. And then as an option to the Hydra instance, I will pass canvas this canvas. And let's say, just to try it easier, oops, that's wrong. Just start something simple. Oops. Okay, so nothing has been shown yet because in compose this JDOM you need to pass the canvas element in, and this canvas is the actual canvas element, and yeah, this should work. And the reason why I was not seeing the canvas is because I just declared the class and I haven't made the instance of it. An instance of it. English is hard. So now so you can either instantiate just like this in the global scope, or because we know that this Hydra app will be accessed from this awesome app, because awesome app is the awesome one that contains everything somehow. I'm not saying the hierarchy, but it takes care of everything, let's say. So I want to keep this Hydra app inside awesome app. I don't know if there's an error. Let's see. So it's instantiated, Now, not just instantiating it, I want to show it. And again, you always have to put the element or the Torus object inside JDOM. And in this case, it's going to be this dot Hydra app. And just like how we did with append child at the beginning, I mean, this is confusing at first, but you'll get used to it. You cannot just pass in awesome app or Hydra app. You have to always do .node. Then, and it's so awesome that the canvas has appeared here. Now, as always, I want to keep this fit in the screen, in the frame, let's say, because right now it's kind of okay, but it doesn't react to the window size and like whatever. I will just do okay, because I said display inline display. I'll just keep this out for now. Position absolute, width 100%, height 100%, and maybe this awesome part will be the message will be separate like this. And now this one I would add another class, and this is so like Torus is so nice that like while using CSS you can like just jump to the HTML, the counterpart, very easily. Let's say control, and this part is class Hydra, let's say, and then dot control, and you can just write like almost same as the standard CSS. Sometimes some things don't work, but most of the time it works. Let's say this display position absolute. This is for the control, this is for the message, and I would say that index is 0, and same thing for, what did I say, control and Hydra absolute, but that index is going to be okay. I think the control should be 1. I mean, I can say here -1 as well, but now you have the message overlaid on top of Hydra. And if I go back to Hydra app, I would add styles, display, no, not display, position absolute, width 100%, height 100%, and it's going to be probably squished. No, not yet. Interesting. Maybe like this. No. I don't know. I wanted to have the canvas somehow fit into the screen, but it didn't. But I think it's okay. Maybe I have to do something here instead. Let's see. No. I don't know why. It's okay. That's a small detail, let's say. But what if I do like shape? Isn't not gonna be nice then? Yeah. You see that probably it's 140%. Yeah, it's not centered. This is not so nice. So I have to figure out how to squish the canvas, because I think right now you're just seeing the top left of the canvas, and that's why there's nothing in here. Or if you do gradient, you probably see the red part, black to red and green, and not the yellow part at the right bottom. So how do we do this CSS? I think the easiest way is just to hack the canvas. Styles width equals 100%. Would that work? No. It crashed. Or can I do this? Oh my god, this is a great tutorial. Oops, it doesn't work. But I got it in the other code I did. So I don't exactly know why. But let's see with the reactive part, because it's already 25 minutes. So I moved the Hydra code here because just, you know, it's just one line of code and it's kind of separate from the container itself. Now what I'm going to do is to add a new app, or it's not even app, I would just say this is a slider element. So just clean it up again, just make a basic Torus object, slider element, and this will create an input. Type is range, default value is 0, minimum is 0, and max is, or I can just say 100, doesn't have to be power to 2. And because I want to put a name, I will wrap it with div. One thing to note is in I think in HTML you can just keep it input like this, or I don't know if you need input to close it, but all the time, like even like image works just like this, right? Like without the closing tag, but in Torus you always have to close it, or you can just skip the name and it will automatically close it like that. And I would add a label that says name, and I want the name from the code, not hard code, because I want to reuse this. This label. Okay. And perhaps I will add label here. And this. So init is just like constructor, but because Torus has constructor like doing like things behind, so you don't want to overwrite the constructor and instead write init. And how to use it? Again, I would just do it in the awesome app, this sliders, and push new slider element name, I don't know, phase, because you can change the phase of the oscillator. And again, okay, so I had this awesome message. I'll keep it because it's good. Then I will add here this sliders, and because we just have one element, this, and then again always put .node, and it's super easy. You have this component here. Now you want to read the slider and use it in the Hydra code. I want to, okay, so this background color salmon, I would just move it here so that it will be, yes, it will have background color, easy to read. Of course you can say RGBA something something dot something to make it alpha, but I'll just keep it like this for visibility as well. And now this is a little bit tricky part. So now we have this input tag, and in Torus you have to do everything by yourself. Well, like these interactions by yourself, because it's very lightweight, and it doesn't like, if you know React, for example, it gives a way to map variable to the input slider value and stuff, but in this case you have to do it by yourself. Just like we did last time in the tutorial, we have this on input and a function, but you don't write the function directly. Instead, you wrap it with this thingy and e. So this is the arrow function here. And let's start something simple. Console log, and because I know it, this is event target dot value will return the value of the slider. And yeah, I mean, it's very small, but on the bottom you see that the little number is changing. That's great. And then what you want is to, let's say, I don't know what's the easiest way to do it, but let's say const values. I'll just expose it to global because Hydra likes that. Not values, maybe uniforms. No, what's the control? Maybe it's not a good name, but it's okay. I would say control dot no, this label. So we keep the label as the key, and e dot target dot value. And perhaps when it initializes, I would say we give 0 to it, just to not Hydra to crash. And maybe, because the value is now between 0 to 100, I would divide it by 100, so it's going to be from 0 to 1. Finally, in oscillator, maybe 50, 0.1, and then the phase will be, so because we named it phase, we just use control.phase, and now it reacts to the slider. And okay, this is it. So now we edit the slider element as well. It's just a little bit of a style because it's bothering me that this text is not centered. Display flex. How do you say it? Align items center, I think. Or was it? Did it change? I don't know. I don't know. It's okay. By the way, if you don't wrap anything with CSS in Torus, in the case of Torus, like you don't do it in standard CSS, if you don't wrap it, it will apply to the parent, which is div in this case. And what's the last thing I want to do? Okay, so here, this little bit of a tricky thing I wanted to explain to you. For example, like you want to say, yeah, I'll just copy this. Not just with Hydra, you want to keep this value visible on the HTML DOM instead of just showing it visually, so that it's good for debugging, for example. But it doesn't work this way because, yeah, like you would expect that now the phase should be 1, but it's not changing because unlike React, which actually like literally reacts to the changes, in Torus you have to do it explicitly, and whenever this value changes, that happens when you when this on input is triggered, and or because this control value is changed, this will appear here. So here you do this dot render, and this is like a refresh to just to say, okay, please refresh the DOM because the value has changed, and now it changes. Well, little things that you wanted to edit with CSS, but that's okay. Okay, so after 35 minutes we did something smaller than last time, so what's the point? Okay, I can show you what is good with this. Like last time we edited the label and the input slider in HTML, so if you want to add a new one, you have to copy that and you have to edit this JavaScript and stuff like that. But in this case, you just have to copy and paste where you instantiate slider element. Okay, I want actually 2 slider elements, which would say, I don't know, frec. And it doesn't appear because I hard-coded here. This I want to say. Instead of this, of course you can do 1 and then it should work, but this is not nice if you have 100 sliders. Like it, oh shoot, this is a weird thing with okay, I'm not gonna go into this. I think it's doing some weird stuff. Okay, I think I have to do this. Display, is it flex? I don't know. Always go to flexbox help and just find how you want to do this. So this time I want, let's say, column order and justify, no, align items would be baseline, right? You wanted to align this slide. So something like this would work. And you just copy this CSS output and just put this in. Okay. Oops, it was wrong. So okay. Now it's okay. So you can change phase. Frec doesn't do anything because we're not using it. Let's say, oops, control frec, but times, I don't know, 30 plus 30, something like that. So it will go from 30 to 60. And oops, yes, now you can see that the frequency is changing and the phase is also changing. Awesome, because it's an awesome app. And the one last thing, this isn't ugly, this is very ugly. So what you do is, let's use the map function. This is really not intuitive, but I just do it like this, slider.node. It creates a new array, and the argument, this is a function inside the map function, and this function, what it does is, you can write this way too, function that takes slider as argument, and then you want to return. So the problem with the sliders is that it's almost there, but like you see here, you want just to take the dot node part of this element of each element of the array. So that's why you have to do this a little bit. This is a little bit tedious, or like you can do the same thing with the arrow function, which is a little bit strange, but it works. It's better like this if you get used to it. Yeah, now I can. It's almost 40 minutes. I don't want to make it too long, but you can always like add more sliders. I want to have blend and blend with noise. So it's very it's not just easy to maintain, but if you want to add some features like add new slider, whatever you created already, it's very easy. And this is something that you cannot do with well, you can do it with vanilla JavaScript, but you have to do like similar approach of almost like making your own framework to keep it customizable. And like the how I did last time was not so flexible, and yeah, I really recommend looking into this. I mean, at least looking into like this kind of lightweight framework like Torus would give you an idea of, okay, like when I write in JavaScript, how I would like structure it with classes and stuff so that it's going to be reusable. Like that's like the way of making your own framework. So it's a little bit different from like pure Hydra tutorial, but I hope this gives a good idea. I will try to fix the positioning of the canvas and post it in the description. And if you like the video, please like the video, press the like button, and subscribe to the framework, to the channel of my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.